right, fans, welcome to Before the Bell here at AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas, as we count down the biggest fight of the year in front of the biggest boxing audience of the year.
And we all know who the king is. The king is Saul Alvarez. Now, come on. But can the Briton Billy Joe Saunders dethrone the king?
Canelo Alvarez, who has made it perfectly clear his goal in 2021 is to unify all 4 super middleweight belts.
Muy pocas personas han logrado ser campeones unificados.
Ryan Garcia says no one is going to beat Canelo.
No other fighter at 168 has the resume that Canelo has.
To be a great, you've got to be fearless.
To fight a great, you have to be fearless.
I don't give a about Canelo Alvarez. Not too. This will be the biggest upset in boxing.
This fight is a mega fight.
It's history, collecting all the belts. You get in this sport to win the belt.
It's fantastic for the sport.
Todos los títulos en 168 libras y obviamente en mexicano nunca ha habido ni uno.
These 2 fighters are fearless.
This is more not. We do what I want to do here.
This is the toughest fight left for Canelo Alvarez.
As us gypsies say, we're not here to take part, we're here to take over. He will not be all his own way.
This is going to be a massive fight.
This is a legacy fight.
Great night ahead of us of boxing as we're joined by our guy, former super lightweight champion, Chris Algieri.
Welcome.
Listen, Chris, obviously the Cinco de Mayo weekend used to be Floyd Mayweather's boxing holiday. Now it belongs to Canelo Alvarez. This is his 3rd super middleweight championship fight in 5 months. What does that say about these young fighters, some even champions, that are only fighting once, maybe twice a year?
You know, Canelo is flipping the script. He's showing these young fighters that you don't have to fight just once or twice a year. You can stay busy in between fights, almost like a throwback to Julio Cesar Chavez, who used to have a lot of fights in between his mega fights. So Canelo's setting a new precedent for these young guys that you can fight more often and still be an elite level, top level guy.
Well, you're still young. I'm going to sign you up for 3 fights then.
Let's go.
We still got time, right?
Line them up.
No, but check it out, man. I mean, Canelo, he is king. We know that. But does that mean that he can't be beaten?
No, anyone can be beaten on any given night, and he's got a very tough guy in front of him tonight in Billy Joe Saunders.
There you go.
Look, talking about skills, right? The other 2 champions at super middleweight are known to be very skilled fighters. We're talking Caleb Plant and obviously Billy Joe Saunders. Who would you say is the toughest opponent for Canelo Alvarez between the 2?
You know, we've seen in the past, slicksters, boxing style types have given Canelo trouble, but Billy Joe Saunders, I believe at this stage, is a bigger threat because of his experience and the fact that he's a southpaw, which we know gives Canelo trouble.
All right, well, let's get to Before the Bell scheduled action is getting underway very shortly. As first up is Kelvin Davis looking to make it win number 2 when he takes on Jan Marcelic, the Czech fighter who has won his last 2 fights by knockout.
Then you got hard-hitting Mexican welterweight Christian Alan Gomez Duran, and he takes on local Texan Xavier Wilson over 8 rounds.
All right, top prospect Keyshawn Davis has won his first 2 fights by knockout. The former amateur star tonight faces Jose Antonio Mesa.
And then Davis's old amateur rival Mark Castro makes it his 3rd Canelo undercard appearance, once making his debut in San Antonio last year. 2 wins by knockout so far, but the tough Mexican has Irvin Macias Castillo across the ring from him tonight.
All right, and then we'll be handing it over to the zone for the main card, all right, and starts off with the heavyweights as the heavyweight ranked Cuban Felix Sanchez looks to continue his unbeaten run when he faces New York's Nagy Aguilera.
Then super welterweights Kieran Conway and unbeaten former Olympian Solomon Sissoko should have fought last year, but finally clashed tonight.
All right, then it's world title action as defending WBO lightweight champion, flyweight champion Elwin Soto makes the 3rd defense of his crown against Japanese Katsunado Takayama.
And finally, Saul Canelo Alvarez, big super middleweight unification showdown with Britain's unbeaten Billy Joe Saunders takes place live and exclusive on the zone and in front of 70,000 fans here at the AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas.
That's right. So enjoy the countdown to the big fight. Get your wings, your beer, and get ready. Let's go over to the action of David Diamante.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to AT&T Stadium here in Arlington, Texas for an evening of World Championship Professional Boxing, Canelo versus Saunders. And we begin tonight with a 4-round super lightweight affair. Now, entering the arena, please welcome from the Czech Republic, Jan Marshall Marsalek. Hello. I think the mic is off in the arena.
It has one of those senses of the big occasion, a big night in the Big D. We're talking Dallas, Texas, or more specifically, it is Arlington, Texas, in the house that houses the Cowboys. But today, it'll be an old-fashioned shootout amongst the fighters who step in as we welcome you, fight fan, on this terrific before-the-bell occasion. This card has some excitement to it. Chris Algieri, you and I were in Miami 70 days ago. Good to be back with you, sir. We know that there is a stepping stone now. This is the biggest spotlight that a lot of these fighters will have ever contested in, such as Marsalek, the Czech, who makes his way to the ring. This is a big occasion for them.
Honestly, everyone below Canelo, this is the biggest occasion of their careers. So at this stage, for these young fighters, it's an absolutely tremendous opportunity for them to showcase their skills in front of a humongous live audience.
And now, set to make his ring walk, please welcome from Norfolk, Virginia, the undefeated Kelvin Night Davis.
Well, for most, this occasion will be the biggest stage, but this is the type of fighter, Kelvin Davis, part of a trio of brothers who all get into the sweet science. We'll see two of them tonight, and the first will be Kelvin Davis, who's trying to make a name for himself. He's already fought once professionally, procured the win, but some people have gotten him mixed up with old concrete Kelvin Davis, a fighter from the past who established himself with a quality career as an IBF cruiserweight crown. But that's a name from the historical books as far as Kelvin's concerned. He's looking to make that name for himself again tonight.
Yeah, talented guy at 6'1", campaigning at 140 pounds, absolutely tremendous height, 74-inch reach. I mean, this guy is super long for the weight class and wants to use that height and reach against his opponent tonight.
Yeah, it's safe to say that all boxers come in with a lot of confidence. There's bravado, but this young man, he feels as if now, at 24 years of age, he needs to make that big step. Tried to start to set his sights on the Olympics, but then in the semifinals came up short. Really said, you know what, Olympics I'm pushing aside. Already my little brother has said he's going pro. I'm going to do so first. He did win his first match before Keyshawn, his younger brother, was able to. He feels that this is an occasion that plays into his strengths.
Yeah, I think so. From what I've seen from the tape, he does have a very professional style. He walks guys down, uses his reach, and he's got good power in that straight left hand.
That first pro win came just ahead, but look at this. The Davis brothers come in, part of that DB3 brand that we'll talk more about as the day unfolds. A combined 3-0. He looks to establish himself as a 2-0 starter as a pro as he brings all his skill set here to the ring in Dallas. This AT&T Stadium, what a beautiful setting to have Canelo Saunders later tonight, but boy, stay tuned for the fun that's to come.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to AT&T Stadium here in Arlington, Texas, USA, the home of the Cowboys, and we are live on the zone for Canelo Saunders. It's all being brought to you courtesy of Mr. Eddie Hearn of Matchroom Boxing. We are sponsored by Hennessy, Never Stop, Never Settle, Air Force Reserve, Tecate, Bet Online, O'Reilly Auto Parts, Orange Crush, and Valueway. All of tonight's bouts are sanctioned under the auspices of the Texas Department of Licensing and Regulation. The assistant manager is Jim Erickson. Introducing your three judges scoring this contest from ringside: Robert Chapa, David Iokabuchi, and Anthony Moss. And at the sound of the bell, your third man in the ring, referee Ruben Perez. And now, ladies and gentlemen, 4 rounds of boxing scheduled in the super lightweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, wearing the red with the gold and white trim. He scaled 140.4 pounds, and he stands with his head trainer, David Dvorak. His professional record, 8 wins, 2 defeats, with 7 wins coming by way of knockout. Fighting out of Pardubice, Czech Republic, introducing Jan Marsalek. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the blue corner. He stands with his head trainer, Tyler Trask. He wears the navy blue and silver. He's scaled 143.8 pounds. His young professional record thus far perfect. 1 fight, 1 victory, and that victory came by way of knockout. Fighting out of Norfolk, Virginia, introducing Kelvin Night Davis.
Okay, gentlemen, I give you instructions in the dressing room. I want you to obey my commands at all times. Protect yourself at all times. Trunks are good here. Trunks are good here. Gentlemen, touch them up.
Ruben Perez, ring referee, gives the instructions, and we're ready to go. The first 4 fights today before the bell. Thanks for joining us, Fight Fan. And they are punched in. Gloves are up and underway. Opening round of this scheduled 4 rounds, and already Marsalek finds himself on the canvas. A bit of a slip early. But there is Kelvin Davis, not wasting any time trying to get in early.
Like I had said when we opened, Kelvin Davis very relaxed in there, very professional style, takes his time, walks his man down, uses that southpaw jab like we see right there.
We're already starting to see the advantage. It's Marsalek who has the advantage as far as experience, fighting his 11th fight overall. That's 10 times as many times into the ring professionally as his opponent. But everything else skews Kelvin Davis's way. He's got a 5-inch advantage height-wise, 4 inches on the reach, and already the aggressive style coming to the forefront.
And already there we saw a little right hook to the body, and Kelvin Davis's pro debut, he threw some very effective body punches to get his opponent out of there pretty early.
Marsalek hailing from the Czech Republic. He was a former MMA fighter, had more than a dozen contests in the mixed martial arts format, but then decided, you know what, I've got a passion for boxing too. Put himself in the ring, finds himself with an 8-2 record, 7 knockouts. But he's going to have his hands full already, we can tell from the quickness, just the quick pop from Davis.
Yeah, the quickness and the range. Davis is doing a great job of using that right southpaw jab as a stick, keeping his man on the end of it, and just looking to line up that straight left hand.
Left hand starting to just find a little vulnerability right in between the gloves of Marsalek. Tapping Jan on the nose already a few times in this opening minute and a half.
You know, being a fighter who came from another combat sport, I was a kickboxer prior to boxing. You know, and now we got Marsalek coming from MMA. You know, there is a distinct transition period. It's a difficult thing to overcome. A lot of the techniques may overlap and bleed into each other. So we'll see if Marsalek has had a chance to figure that out yet.
Yeah, came to boxing late, did Jan Marsalek. 25 years of age when he decided that this was going to be his passion and his pursuit. Hasn't fought a lot in the 8 years since being a professional.
Ooh,
but now he's showing a little skill set of his own and some quick hands. That left hand starting to get through, finding the cheek of Davis.
I was going to say, Marsalek has 7 knockouts in his 8 wins, so he does carry some power in those hands, and we saw that there when he caught Davis getting tall along the ropes. That left hook hit him on the side of the ear there.
Yeah, that's a effective ratio. 8 wins, 7 by knockout for Marsalek. We'll see if he's now able to make the read, the adjustments after that the peppering he took from Davis.
Yeah, I think Marsalek made a nice adjustment that you just mentioned. You know, he was staying on the outside, but now he's using a little bit of head movements and feints to get himself inside and put some leather on Davis.
Yeah, so final bell on the opening round, and a good exchange between the two after Davis looked to establish himself early as the aggressor, things evening out as things finish. Yeah, again, 9 years difference between the two. We talk about the experience that Marsalek has, but it's not as if it's abundant and overwhelming. But for Kelvin Davis, just his second professional fight, a lot of questions, Chris, about what it takes to make that amateur step, if he would be able to really bring the skill set necessary for that next level.
Yeah, no, it's a difficult thing to do. They're really almost like different sports. The amateur program going into the professional ranks, taking the headgear off, putting on those small gloves, thinking less about points and more about doing damage.
For Marshalik, as he was able to turn things around, there's the left hand that's able to get in, just grazing the chin, but enough to be a wake-up call for Davis.
Yeah, for sure. Davis made a little mistake there. He moved back straight along the ropes with his head up in the air. That's what you do not want to do as a tall fighter. The shorter fighter can throw over the top and catch you.
Also responding very well, he realizes when that reach comes from Davis, Davis extends himself. Marshalik, if he's able to, kind of duck that, he can get in, maybe tight, and deliver a couple blows from close range. As round 2 gets underway.
Having a longer reach is beneficial from the outside, but not on the inside.
Safe to say, in this case, as Marshalik looks to crowd in, almost get inside the trunks of Davis, he wants this to be a eyeball-to-eyeball fight.
Yeah, he wants to put his head on his chest and bang away at the body and over the top. Make it ugly, make it rough. Marshalik being very aggressive here, using his head movement, getting low. He does have that MMA background, so almost looking like he's a wrestler trying to shoot in on his opponent.
Yeah, interesting that David Dvorak is in the corner for Marshalik. He is a MMA fighter currently who's going to be fighting in a week's time on a UFC card. He is acting as the corner for the Czech. They'll swap places in 7 days' time, as it will be Marshalik in the corner, former MMA fighter who's training Dvorak. What is the skills that brought for you when you made that transition from MMA to boxing that really you benefited, were able to use that as sort of the springboard?
For me, I think we're seeing that even tonight now as well. It's just the professional experience. Being in tough fights, not fighting without a headgear for 20 fights prior to having my pro debut. So I had that experience of a combat sport where you had to protect yourself and had to have good defense.
That right hand from Davis, still trying to just find a bit of length to set up the left hand. Marshalik doing well to duck and move and stay out of the way. Just as a finishing thought, the epilogue 4-7-1 as an MMA fighter was Marshalik before making the transition to his current 8-2 status as a pro. Big cut from the right hand, but missing as the Czech found nothing but air.
Davis doing a good job of maintaining that height and reach, using a sneaky straight left hand, just really pot-shotting at this point. I'd like to see him let his hands go, put combinations together. Good head movement there from the 6'1" super lightweight.
Yeah, for Davis to be ducking and getting out of the way, is that a sense of Marshalik maybe telegraphing his punches a bit, or is it just the quickness of Davis to get out?
Probably a combination of the two. Davis is recognizing the big swinging shots, and Marshalik is focusing more on the head, which I don't recommend. You have a tall guy with a long torso. You want to start at the body first, work your way up.
Yeah, member of the Norfolk 3, that is now the DB3. Davis Brothers 3 is the brand that Kelvin and Keon and the man we'll see later in our third fight, Keyshawn Davis. They're very proud of their roots in Norfolk, and of course it's got some good pedigree that's come from there previously.
Yeah, one being the Sweet Pea Whitaker. Pernell Whitaker, one of the greatest defensive fighters of all time. Oh, good straight left hand there from Davis.
And able to follow it up, attacking the body and also getting one right on the crown of Marshalik's head as the ring of the bell comes to end the round. But Davis starting to score some good points and get the upper hand as the round finishes.
Excellent finish to the round there for Davis. Finished really strong, firing a straight left hand off the ropes. Got his man hurt for a moment there.
That is going to be absolutely electric as the evening goes on in this stadium that houses the Dallas Cowboys NFL franchise. 80,000 strong when filled to capacity for American football. They're expecting Chris tonight, and get this, in what we are in the midst of still a pandemic and what has been going on with sports, 70,000 expected for Canelo Saunders by the conclusion.
That is music to my ears. Boxing is back. Live events are back. It's so great to be here. It's going to be a tremendous amount of energy in here.
Yeah, a lot of precautions being taken for the fighters as well as the staffs for the crew from Matchroom as we get a look at that.
There's this shot that I said at the end of the round. Davis moved towards the rope, changed directions, fired a straight left hand, and right on the chin of his opponent. Good round for Davis, was able to put in some real damage.
Yeah, precautions at the hotel as well as getting out here, but now it's all about getting down to the nitty-gritty and exchanging some leather between Marshalik and Davis. as we saw the replays at the end of the second round, starting to notice that perhaps that right hand, getting that little just movement on it, has given Marshalik a couple of fits because he's actually ended up right in the sights of the left.
Yeah, and that's something that, Davis has been doing quite well at this point, using the right to land the left. He definitely seems like the straight left hand is his punch of choice.
Also, we'll see if Marshalik can protect himself. He seems to be dropping his gloves a little bit here. He's doing so much work to avoid the long reach of Davis that he leaves himself a bit vulnerable.
Yeah, and Davis is really just looking to line up that straight left hand. You see him, he's starting to get the timing of Jan and starting to pick those left hands as Marshalik is moving his head. Wrestling there on the inside.
Ruben Perez saying, hold on, guys. Part now re-engage, making sure to keep order restored.
Yeah, you notice Davis doesn't use a snapping jab. It's much more of a pawing jab. He uses that 74-inch reach, keeps his opponent on the end, looking to really line up that straight left hand rather than do damage with the jab itself.
Mentioned this is just the second professional fight for Kelvin Davis. He made his pro debut in Los Angeles, fighting in a Ring City event last December where he got a second-round knockout of Michael Onesto. Not bad for the pro debut, and as mentioned, we had 3 fighters on this before the bell card that are unblemished in the early nascent stages of their career, as Kelvin seeks a 2-0 record. Now it's pick and choose time. Kelvin Davis looking for a target. He is just rearing back the bow, hoping that arrow is just going to find its way through to the bullseye.
Yeah, you see him. He's using his eyes really well right now, trying to get his range and his timing. He was timing Marshalik well on the way in earlier in the round. Now is really just trying to kind of line up the power shots to get this. Get his man out of there. I think he hit him there, hurt him there with a straight left hand. Marshalik a little reckless at this point, looking for Hail Mary shots. He's having a lot of trouble getting past the range.
And starting to get stung. You're starting to see the battle here, the attrition of those right hand, then left hand follows by Davis that are finding their mark, starting to take something out of Jan. And a little more animation from Davis now as he senses some vulnerability.
Yeah, absolutely. He's done a great job of settling the pace down, using his height and his reach, but he's definitely starting to do some more damage. You see a lot of red marks on the face of Jan Marshalik.
Yeah, and the body language of the two, it's Davis who comes out of his stance, that very fortified split stance where he was just trying to pick his target versus all of the effort that Marshalik has had to make. He just looks a little worse for wear. What will Marshalik have to try to accomplish here with his final round coming up? He's got to score some points. He's got to go for something big.
As far as I'm concerned, he's down 3 rounds to nothing. Kelvin Davis has been in total control, has actually hurt his man a few times. I think that Marshalik has to go for broke this round. He's got to look for the knockouts. He's got to look for those big shots upstairs. It's never too late to go to the body, but I do believe that he needs to start really ringing some big shots upstairs.
Yeah, sorry, I misspoke. Points mean nothing at this point for Marshalik. He's got to go for big and broke and knock it out because this has been a one-sided fight.
That's the beautiful thing about boxing. Yeah. The points oftentimes don't matter because knockouts are the end-all be-all.
Yeah.
This is what I was saying earlier about Kelvin Davis was able to time his opponent as he was coming in, doing a great job of catching him on the way in with both left and rights.
And the final round in this scheduled 4-round bout as Kelvin Davis is just a couple minutes away from a 2-0 start to his professional career, unless there is something very, very hidden in the bag of tricks for Marshalik.
I love seeing a tall fighter fighting tall. He understands, he has the range. That's one thing a fighter can never do. You can't grow. You either have the range or you don't. And Kelvin Davis certainly does, and he's using it to his advantage.
Well, Davis knows that he's got the upper hand now, and he's starting to toy with Marshalik just a bit. You saw a little bit of that rope-a-dope and a little tap of the glove on the top of the head. That didn't sit well with Jan, but that might, if that little flare-up of emotion, that actually could backfire for Marshalik. He has to be really composed here if he's going to go for that big cut.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Davis is doing a great job of timing him, hitting him. He has hurt him, and so Marshalik has to be aware that the guy in front of him can do some damage as well. But it's got to be go for broke. But you got to understand, you got to be smart about it.
Go back a little bit to what you were saying about fighting tall. At 6'1", he's got 5-inch advantage over Marshalik. Is it a matter of just standing up straight, or expand on that a little bit?
No, definitely not standing up straight, because you can get hit with clean shots when you stand up straight. You really have to focus on keeping your opponent outside of your reach. When you have a height and reach advantage, you're able to hit them before they can hit you. So keeping them outside that range, that critical distance point, is extremely important for a tall fighter to learn how to do early on.
Kelvin Davis doesn't lack for confidence. He says, I can see myself in a world title fight on TV someday. I got no doubt. Coming from the same town, Norfolk, Virginia, as
precise moment. That's when the special
international experience like Davis has. He's definitely fought guys who are tall, guys who are long. This is nothing new for him.
Yeah, and looking. Good for you.
Honestly, not really. I come in some.
Because that was just non-stop. It was as if they got out of the gates running a 100-meter dash. He was just into Castillo immediately. We'll see if that can continue. What Castillo is able to do. He's really had nothing. Kelvin Davis improving to 2-0 as a professional. His young
Are you concerned about the current fluctuations in the world's economy? Here are 3 pieces of advice from eToro users on how to trade.
Que Saunders quiere dar el batacazo. Se observan bajo un silencio selvático en Dallas, en la casa de los Cowboys. 48-47 las tarjetas del Chibi. 48-47 las tarjetas de DAZN. Lo agarra el tapatío, le pega una per.
Particularly important.
Yeah.
Just the first round could go either
So
way.
he's got Saunders up.
I got the same as you, so we can go reversed, haven't we?
Yeah.
What is going on, fellow core cutters? Antoine here with Core Cutter Lifestyle and Tech, and today I'm going to be doing a live.
Okay, guys, I give you instruction in the dressing room. Le having a clean match, okay? Good luck, God bless you. Le di la instrucción en el camerino. Vamos a una pelea.
What is going on, fellow core cutters? Antoine here with Core Cutter Lifestyle and Tech, and today I'm going to be doing a live preview of DAZN. As always,
You can't count him yourself.
It's poise, patience, and power at its best. McCaskill with a nice left hook right there. His physique is fantastic. What an exclamation point for Gennady Golovkin. There is your ferocious finish.
He's been stopped all over.
Walking him. Body shot, nice left to the body by Saunders. Alvarez.
fue precisamente una demostración de que había pasado todo lo contrario. Mientras vemos en la pantalla a Jerry Jones, el dueño de los Dallas Cowboys, disfrutando también del evento, y el Canelo precisamente sigue siendo más certero en los golpes. Cuando lo encuentra al inglés, se lo hace sentir,
Creo que el mayor volumen de golpes lo ha metido el tapatío.
Repleto. Comienza hoy una licenciatura o maestría online en Universidad ISEL. Conoce más en isel.mx. La tarjeta de Eduardo Oreste, el Amazon del Soto. Usted lo conoce como Don Lama.
10 puntos para Canelo, 9 puntos para Billy Joe Saunders. Gana el round el Canelo, pero no me gusta esa versión que estamos viendo hace 4 minutos. Tiene que corregir.
El momio, si Canelo gana en el próximo round, es 10.00 con 200 ganarías 2000. B365, la casa de apuestas online más grande del mundo. Tiene que cerrar distancia. Aquí Saúl Canelo.
What are you seeing from BJ Saunders? Right now, the tide has changed just a little bit.
Let's bring in Roy Jones Jr. again. Roy, what are you seeing from BJ Saunders?
Right now, the tide has changed just a little bit. He's allowed to throw more punches. He's landing that jab effectively. He hit Canelo with a few good body shots, which is something nobody expected, including Canelo. So right now, I think Billy Joe has shifted the tide.
Come on! I'm a marketing manager, and
Canelo tried to land a big sort of 1-2. So he doubled up the jab, Canelo, and then tried